And then my name is Chengbo Yang. I'm associate professor at the Department of Animal Science at the University of Manitoba. First of all, I would like to thank the opportunity to present our research data at the first Canadian Poultry Research Forum. And my presentation title is a paper-based microfluidic device, a down chip for rapid and low cost and deoxynivalenol quantification in feed and feed ingredients. So this slide shows the global map of the mycotoxin occurrence and the risk in different regions, and based the Biomin mycotoxin survey 2019. So this region includes and Asia and this North American, South American, and Europe. Now from this figure, you can see mycotoxin contamination is very recognized as a concern in the agricultural production, especially in livestock sectors. So as consumers become more concerned about the feed safety and the quality and the ability of the quantify and address the mycotoxin contamination become increasingly important. So these are several news about the mycotoxin contamination in Canada. As you can see here, the mycotoxin level in Ontario corn creeping higher, and the Canadian mycotoxin fears dual feed grain industry response, and the down contamination of corn more widespread than any other year. This is 2 years ago. And this I show you the relative effects of different mycotoxin in poultry. And I just want to show you the down contamination and cause a different relative effect. For example, down contamination can reduce the egg production and egg quality, increase diarrhea, and they also increase the disease susceptibility, and also decrease vaccine efficacy, and they reduce feed efficiency, and they reduce feed consumption and growth rate. So it's important to do mycotoxin analysis because there are several reasons. First of all, to meet a regulatory guideline for international trade, because different countries have different rules about the maximum level of the mycotoxin contamination. So, and also second reason, to reduce the risk of mycotoxin contamination in fish. So because when you need to know the concentration in your ingredients, and to try to make it feed and with the mycotoxin contamination, the risk is lower, right? And also to maintain product quality, to determine the optimal feeding strategies. For example, if you can use different ingredient to make it the mycotoxin level in the feed is lower, right? And to accurately monitor mycotoxin contamination. And there are several methods that can detect the mycotoxin in feed and feed ingredients. There are conventional methods, for example, enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay, ELISA, and the thin layer chromatography, GLC, and higher performance liquid chromatography like HPLC and LC-MS. There are also some fast methods, for example, fluorescence and the lateral flow strip technology, and the optimal-based method. Okay, so there are also some challenges associated with the mycotoxin detection. First of all, it's very difficult to obtain a sample which is representative of the entire rotor tract. And the second reason, the heterogeneous distribution of mycotoxin in feed ingredient. It's not equal distributed in feed ingredient, okay? And also laboratory-based methods are costly and they take time consuming, and in some cases, the complex equipment are needed, right? And the current testing at the feeding mill are done a few pockets of each truckload. And the fluorescence and the lateral flow strip technology takes about 30 minutes. And it is still too long and expensive for feeding mill, right? And the masked mycotoxin are not detectable by current method. So in order to address this challenge, can we develop a quick and easy test that is inexpensive and accurate and faster and more representative. So, and there are the macro fruitage device, also called lab on chip. They have several advantages. First of all, rapid, low cost, and can be used multiple channels in one chip, and transport the samples or reagents via capillary actions, and also can detect different compounds, for example, proteins, contaminants, pathogens, and chemicals, and heavy metals, and also drugs. So with this advantage as a macrofluidics device, it's a promising alternative to traditional laboratory test. So in this case, we developed the down chip to detect the down in the feed and feed the ingredients. So you can working mechanism of the down chip. So we have different components here, like down conjugated with BSA signal antibody, and the golden nanoparticle, the down antibody, and golden nanoparticle, the down antibody conjugate. Okay, you can see from the chip from the left to the right, you can see the conjugate pad and the T1 area and the T2 area. Okay, and also the absorbent pad. So you can see the mechanism. One has the low concentration here, and the most the reaction is in this area, and the strong signaling here, and the weaker signaling in here. And the fabrication of the operational down chip. So you can see, first of all, we just print the channel pattern in the natural cellulose paper using the wax ink printer, and then back the device to allow the wax ink to penetrate the paper, and then deposit down BSA conjugate and anti-mouse IgG to the T1 and the T2 area, and add the BSA to block non-specific binding site. And then attach the absorbent pad and the pre-loading conjugation pad to the device, and then add a sample to the conjugate pad, and waiting for a few minutes to finish the reaction, and then use the portable image system to read the signal, and then to analyze the data. This you can see which video. You can see the design the channel pattern. The print the channel pattern using a waxing ink printer. And the baking device that allow the wax ink to penetrate the paper. And deposit down BSA to the T1 area. And deposit anti-mouse IgG to T2 area. And add BSA to block the non-specific binding site. Add a sample to the conjugate pad. And then you can see the signaling, and scan the signaling and analyze the data. Okay. So the result, so this is a standard curve with 0 nanogram down, and 1 nanogram per ml down, and up to 20 nanogram meter per ml down. Okay. So with this is T1, this is T2, and with the increased down concentration, you can see the signal of the T1 is become weak, right? And with the increased concentration down, you can see the T2 signal becomes stronger. Okay, so you can see the down concentration increased and T1 is decreased, and T2 signal increased. Okay, so we use the ratio to do the correlation. So T1, T2, and right, and the T2, T1, and use to correlation. So with different calibration, so the limit of detection are 0.644 nanogram per ml for the T1 calibration, and 0.468 nanogram per ml for the T2 calibration, and 0.435 nanogram per ml for the T1, T2 ratio calibration curve, and 0.632 for the T2 T1 ratio calibration curve. Okay. So, and then we use test some real sample, for example, DDGS and the wheat and also corn and the feed. So you can see that based the result from a down chip, and the DDGS has quite a high level of the down contamination from 10 to 13, right? And the wheat is just lower, and corn also higher than wheat but lower than DDGS. And also in the final complete feed, you can also see about 1 to 4 ppm of the down contamination. And when compare the result from a down chip and with the result from ELISA, you can see they're quite comparable and with the similar result. So, and then we do correlation. So this is the down chip concentration microgram per ml, and this is the ELISA result. So they are the linear fit. They correlate very well, and the R square 0.9991 and the slope is 0.8988. Okay. So, and then we compare the different methods and in terms of limited detection and speed and detection range and the cost and the on-site analysis. So the limited detection. So 10 ppp for the ELISA kit and 50 ppp for the commercial strip. And for our down chip, it's 4.7 ppp. It's much lower than the commercial strip and the ELISA kit. And the speed, 2 hours for ELISA, 12 minutes for commercial strip, and the 12 minutes for our down chip. And detection range, and this 002 to 150 ppb, and this 005 to 100 nanogram per ml for our down chip, the 0.01 to 20 nanogram per ml. For cost, and this is, for example, at least $5, and the commercial strip is, for example, is $4, and the down chip is $0.194 per channel. Okay, and then also for on-site analysis, ELISA, it's difficult to conduct the on-site, right? And the commercial strip can be used on-site, for example, at the feed mill. Our down chip also can be used in on-site testing as well. So based on this table, I think a down chip it's a very promising detection method for down contamination in the feed. And the feature directions. So we will develop multiple detection channel. So that means at one chip we can detect multiple mycotoxin with one reaction, right? So this increase efficiency of the analysis. And also we can try to develop portable reader, and this make it the on-site testing become more feasible. And the last, I want to thank our team, and without them contribution, I think this work cannot be possible. And also, thank you very much for listening. I'm more than happy to answer your question if you have. And
all right, thank you very much, Chengbo. That's some really interesting work and practical to the industry as well.
Thank you.
So is this ready to be commercialized? Is it already available in the field?
And the good question, Dr. Korva. And so it's not available now in the industry. So we have the PCT already, but it looks like we don't get too many approach from the industry so far. Yeah.
Okay. It's really interesting stuff. And so you mentioned that you're looking at a multiplex analysis system. So what are the next most important mycotoxins that you will be looking at?
And I think it's a good question. So for multiple the channel, we can detect the multiple mycotoxin at the same time. We think about the T2, and they may be also aflatoxin. So it's yeah.
Okay. All right. And then the portable reader, that's just an iPhone or an Android device that you can hook up to the testing system?
Yeah, so in the future, we try to maybe just now we have small portable image system, but it's still too heavy and it's still suitable for the lab, right? But for the on-site, maybe just attach with the cell phone. I think it's much easier, and as long as the camera, the resolution is high enough. Yeah.
Wow, that'd be a great advantage to the industry.
Yeah. Thank you.